Hello everybody, Dan here with TrendSpider, and in this video, which I'm making by request, I'm going to talk about a few trades that I've recently taken to the downside. Now this is betting that the asset that I'm trading is going to go down. And there's two that I want to cover in particular. Actually, I'll cover three. One of them is INCY, which I have up on my screen here. I'm going to show you what drove me to take this trade, how I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely not doing this because I want you to follow me. In fact, I think you should definitely not follow me into any trades because honestly, I'm not the best trader in the world and I'm wrong plenty. But I want to share how I came to these trades and how I use the TrendSpider platform to help me make these trades and help me make the decision to take them. So the first one I want to show you is a recent trade. This is one that I actually entered yesterday. And I bought June $75 puts, right? So this green line would represent a profit target. And I entered on yesterday's candle at about 96.69. And I've set a risk level for myself of 102, give or take, right? So if price starts to, retake two levels of lower highs here, then I'm probably, wrong and I should get out and, count my losses. But what ended up happening today, and this is great for my trade, is price went in my direction, right? So it is starting to break down. It broke through this 786 fib level here at 95.75. It's currently trading at 94.57. What I expect to happen, and keep in mind, I could very well be wrong here, but what I expect to happen is price will first get to about this level, about 90 bucks, 89 bucks. It may bounce a little bit from here, and then it will continue on down, and it'll bounce from the VWAPs, which in some cases correspond with fib levels, and hopefully get down to my profit target, about 22% from my entry, about 75 bucks. Now, I may exit this trade early, right? I don't have a ton of conviction it will get all the way down to my profit target in the time frame that I have, because I do have June puts, and I don't necessarily want to roll them. I might. We'll see how it goes. But that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Now, why do I think this stock is going to go down? Well, first off, Rob Smith, my friend Robin the Black on Twitter, would call this pattern that I've drawn here with these two trend lines a broadening formation. And as Rob teaches in his program, these happen a lot, right? And I've started to become much more in tune to them the more I get to know Rob and how he trades. And that's something that I found to be interesting and something that I've seen prove out on many a chart. So the fact that we have a broadening formation that was tested previously, right, and price ran right up to it and pulled back sharply from there tells me that maybe this is an intermediate period top. Well, if this is a broadening formation, what's likely to happen next, right? Price is likely to retrace all the way down to the bottom of this kind of megaphone pattern, if you will. Now, I don't know if it's going to do that, and I imagine if it does do that, it's probably going to take a while. I mean, the last move from top to bottom took 3 months. I have puts that expire next month, and again, I mentioned I'm not so sure I want to roll them. So, I'm not setting my profit target that far down. I'm setting it somewhere in the middle, right, and hoping that my puts come close enough to this and there's a violent move down to give them some moves so I can sell into some strength and get out. So that's how I'm looking at this trade. I think it's a very interesting one. It is a purely technical trade. I don't even really know what INCY does. I don't know what catalysts are in the way for it. And because I'm using puts, I'm not shorting it naked or anything like that. So my risk is limited to what I paid in premium. And I've defined my levels here so that if it goes against me, I can get out. Now, so that's one of them. Next time I want to talk about a little bit is Eventbrite. And this is a trade that's a lot further along. And honestly, I swear, this is a beautiful trade. I'm not normally this good at this, right? So please, I know a lot of people on FinTips will act like this is the type of trade that they can get all day long. I doubt that. Honestly, that anybody can get this kind of trade all day long. There is a factor of fundamental thinking here. There is a good bit of luck and just lucky timing, right? And there is a very clean and clear-cut pattern that I know how to trade and I was familiar with here. So let me show you what I did here. right? And the first thing I did, one of my favorite tools is called Anchored VWAP. It's invented by a friend of mine named Brian Shannon, who runs alphatrends.net. Definitely check him out. Also, the first time you create an anchored VWAP in TrendSpider, by right-clicking on a candle, it'll give you an option to go to his blog and read about how he recommends people use this tool that he invented. He was gracious enough to let us put it in TrendSpider. I think there's a few other platforms that have it, but it's pretty rare. And in my personal opinion, it is a game changer. So the first thing I did is I found the most highest recent point, right? This candle on January 24th, and I anchored a VWAP there. Now, keep in mind, this is early May here, right? So I don't remember exactly what day, but it's right when this bottom trend line became visible, which was May 4th here. So it's sometime after that. And this top trend line was already visible, right? And I'm looking at this. I see this wedge, this rising wedge. I anchored this VWAP, and I see that it's rising up into that VWAP level. That's interesting to me. Right, and I draw this fib on it, and I see that there's a major fib level here, 786 level. I see that above the VWAP, the 618 is there. This fib is measured from that high to this low, right? So just the most recent completed move, right? And now I can watch and see what happens with price, right? Now, as I watch this, I notice price is getting very close to this anchored VWAP. It's riding along this top line here. And I notice there's a very slight, it's almost invisible, divergence on the RSI 10, which is an indicator I use, one of the few indicators I use. And you can see that on this peak on May 11th, RSI stopped at 68.13. And the last peak, it was at 68.24. Right, so that is a slight divergence, right? It's less than 1/10 of a point. Or it's about 1/10 of a point, give or take, right? But that's divergence. So for me, that was the straw, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to buy some puts. And I opened a small position with the thought that, hey, if it gets above this VWAP too high, right, I'll get out, sell my puts, take a loss, right? But if it does what I think it will, then it will probably break through the lower boundary of its rising wedge and continue on down. And this is where I got lucky. Right, Eventbrite put out some news, I think that day or the next day, right? Basically saying that they're cutting costs, restructuring, changing their business to survive the coronavirus situation. And I had suspected that. That's why I was looking at Eventbrite. I was thinking what tech companies are set up for the worst, case scenario, given the changes to the world right now. A company that sells event tracking and management and ticketing software seemed to be pretty high in that. And this rising wedge plus the anchored VWAP upper boundary level plus the divergent RSI got me into this. When I saw this alert trigger, and keep in mind, this alert was a touch alert, not a breakthrough alert. So it triggered when a 15-minute candle touched this buffer zone around this level. When that alert went off, that's when I added to my position. And I have then wrote it down. I almost sold at this AVWAP from this low, but I held because I did see that it closed below it, right? It was really close, but it did close below it, right? And I sold some of my position, looks like today I sold the puts for $1.55. I think I paid like 50 cents for them. It was a really nice trade. And I still have some of my further outputs that are closer to $5, $5 puts for July that, I bought when I added. So this trade's been really nice. I swear, please don't think I'm some like amazing guru. This is not always this clean, right? I usually am definitely not this good. But I'm very proud of how this one turned out, and I used a bunch of features in TrendSpider together to make this trade happen. So I thought that you all may find it interesting. Next one I want to show you is INO, and this is one that is kind of going against me right now. To be honest, I entered it on this high, and I top ticked this pretty well. I got a good entry right around here where it was trading about 1450, right on this big candle here, this high candle, and I was really happy with how it was going. Right, I have puts for $4, $5, and $7 on INO. So I'm hoping for it to go down quite a bit here, right? And then for whatever reason, it hit this 618 level and it's rallied up. I'm still holding this because it has not broken through my entry. It hasn't broken through this upper wedge level and hasn't hit my stop level, which would be to make a new intermediate high. And we'll see how it goes. I am encouraged by the range drop chart on this, right? You'll notice that today's range drop is blue. Blue at a previous support level, actually a little bit lower at a fib level. For me, that's a sign that I might be right after all. I've actually considered adding to my position, although I have not done so. And if I'm right, then from here or sometime soon, we should see price start to melt down, right? I'm not sure I expect a huge move here all at once, but we'll see. This stock can move. I mean, you saw what it did in early March. This is, by the way, Inovio Pharma, which is a coronavirus stock, which is one of the reasons that it's rallied so hard. They have a vaccine candidate, but they also have some negative history with vaccines. As Citron Research pointed out in their short report on these guys recently, they have claimed to have a vaccine for just about every major disease, from HIV through Zika and now this COVID thing. So it's tough to give them a whole ton of trust there. So I'm going to stick with this one. And if it goes against me some more and it gets above $17, I'll count my losses and get out. Right? But what I'm hoping is very soon we'll see it reversed out. So there you have it. 3 short trades that I'm currently involved in. INCY, right, which is just getting going. Eventbrite, which is near the end of the trade. I still have a very small amount of puts left in it. Right? And INO, which is kind of iffy right now. Who knows? We'll see what it does. I hope you found this video interesting. Please keep in mind, I didn't make this video to give trading advice, right? It's not what I do. I'm not an advisor. TrendSpider doesn't offer trading advice, right? I made it so you could see how I use the TrendSpider platform as its founder, as its CEO, and hopefully help you find ways to use it to your own benefit. I don't pretend that my techniques and my style of trading is going to work for everybody. It may not, but I will tell you this, right? Unlike most other platforms out there, everybody at TrendSpider at the senior level trades. Our CTO trades, I trade, Jake, my partner trades, and everybody else on our team, from Brad in marketing to Zach in support. We all love to trade, and we're building tools for ourselves. And I wanted to show everybody that I'm not just the president, I'm also a customer, and I absolutely love the tools that we built, and I hope you do too. So if you haven't tried TrendSpider already, please give it a shot. There's a free trial for 7 days. If you need another week, just ask me. I'll definitely give it to you. And if you do decide to like it, you can use the coupon code WEB20, WEB20, and that'll give you 20% off any of our plans for a year. And you'll also be supporting our work and helping us bring more cool tools to you so that you can use them in your own trading. Again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.